Hi, it's Writing Wednesday, October 31st, and in the spirit of the season, I'm in costume. Now, normally when I have to dress up for Halloween, which is pretty often because I work at one of those places where dressing up is kind of a big deal, I always wear my Star Trek uniform because, of course, I'm a tremendous geek. But this year, at least for vlogging purposes, I'm dressed in period costume, in the era of the novel I'm writing. I might even say that I'm dressed in character as Lucy, one of the main characters from my new novel, except that, to be honest, I'm not sure I know her well enough yet to be able to say with any great degree of confidence that this is how she looks or how she would dress. 1 month into this new writing project, I have done quite a bit of research, some note-taking, and of course, as you know, a lot of vlogging and a lot of thinking about it, but so far I still haven't done a whole lot of actual writing. Only a couple of pages, to be honest. But all that is going to change because tomorrow is November 1st, and I'm doing NaNoWriMo! In case you're unfamiliar with it, NaNoWriMo is an online writing challenge where thousands of writers around the world challenge themselves to try to produce 50,000 words in 30 days during the month of November. Now, in theory, the idea is that you're supposed to produce a complete, albeit rather short, novel in 30 days. But for me, I've done it almost every year since 2003, and I always just use it as an opportunity to add 50,000 words to whatever my work in progress is. And particularly at times like this, when I'm at the beginning of a project and still kind of getting bogged down in the research and planning stage, NaNoWriMo is great because setting that word count goal forces me to drop all the other stuff and just write. Nano doesn't work for everyone, but it does work really well for a lot of writers. And my theory about it is, if you want to try it, go for it, but make it work for you. Figure out how your writing works, and then structure Nano to make it work for you. Don't worry too much about the rules of Nano that a lot of people get hung up on. I mean, it's a self-challenge. There's nobody out there enforcing those rules. Use it as an opportunity to push past that inner critic, to shut up the voices that say, you're never going to do this, or you can't do this well enough, and instead focus on just getting words on paper. Or words on the screen. I actually very rarely put words on paper, but it feels really weird to talk about writing on the computer when I'm, wearing this costume. At this point in the process, after all my research and thinking, there are a few things that I know about my character, about the trajectory that Lucy's life is going to take, or Lily's life. I still haven't completely decided if her name is going to be Lucy or Lily. What do you think? You can vote in the comments if you want, but I don't promise to pay any attention to what you say because in the end, as I get into the story and get to know her, I'm going to give her the name that feels right to me. As you probably guessed by now, I'm not one of those writers who writes a detailed scene-by-scene outline of the entire book or elaborate backstories for every character before I ever start chapter 1. I do plan and outline more than I used to, but that's only in the sense that I used to do nothing at all, because I used to just start with the first words and see where the story took me. At this point in my writing career, and for this new book, I tend to have, 3 to 5 pages of handwritten notes that tell me where I think the story is going to go. But as I start writing, I'm aware that any of that could change along the way. Anything from my main character's name to the core of her personality and her deepest motivations, because I never really know what the story is about or who my characters really are until I actually start writing. And for me, that's what the month of November is all about. So I will see you next Wednesday when I will be 7 days into NaNoWriMo.